This movie sure does star a true man.
Yeah. He is, he's one of the best comedic actors of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
I think that's a fair thing to
When
say.
it comes to comedy, no man is more true to himself than Jim Carrey.
I think the 90s was when people were like, oh, Jim Carrey, he can do stuff. And then for some reason, we all collectively forgot immediately.
No, you know what? I really enjoyed the Sonic the Hedgehog movies just to see him.
Because that's a
have
very
fun.
serious role for him.
No, but I mean, it's just him being goofy and having fun, and I love that. I want to see Jim Carrey happy and having fun.
Well, I don't know anything about Sonic the Hedgehog, but I do know about Truman Show.
Yeah.
Which is the movie we're talking about today.
Yeah, so I'm
surprised my wife didn't call me out on that one immediately. So we're just going to skim past it before she notices.
Yeah. The Truman Show, this is Full-Time Movie Fans. I'm host Jarvis. This is other host Michael.
You can call me miles per hour.
I don't understand what the joke you're trying to make.
Deep cut. We'll get there. Someone in the comments. It'll be me.
Sounds good.
Huh? I'm apparently the only person in this room that cares. It's fine. I have a friend group that's been gaslighting me for years. You're trying not to embarrass me in front of the people.
Are your friends really your friends if they're not trying to gaslight you constantly?
Fair enough.
So, speaking of...
just like all 113 of our subscribers are actually just me.
No, it's in the
different.
It's like 137 or 8 or something like that right now.
Yeah, I have a bot that makes a new account every week and subscribes to the channel.
Make him
it's
work
to make
harder. I think you're going a little bit easy on your bot. I think he needs to pump those numbers
Hey,
up.
Fair enough. Hey,
Those
AI bot, if
those
you
are
can
rookie
see
numbers.
this.
Those are rookie numbers.
I'll get on it.
Speaking of gaslighting, that's basically this whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
This whole movie is just a giant gaslight.
And gatekeeping.
Yeah,
in like
that's
a
true.
literal sense.
Yeah, that's true.
And in some cases, girl bossing.
In some
we
cases.
got all three.
In some cases. This is like, I mean, what do we consider this a classic at this point? I mean, it's a freaking it's iconic.
I consider it a classic as soon as it came out.
Instant classic for sure.
Not to spoil our ratings.
Yeah. Well, Jim Carrey is mainly known for his comedic roles like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask,
Sonic
him
the
being
Hedgehog.
crazy. Yeah. Him being a little weird.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber. That which is also a classic, iconic comedy.
Yeah.
You know. It's just one of those movies that you can quote.
And I'm very sad because the serious Jim Carrey movies they are some of my favorites. I recommended this one, and we're definitely going to do another one of my favorites soon.
Yeah, which
Eternal
is
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, and then there's one that you haven't seen that I have seen.
Yeah.
That's kind of a thriller horror.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm curious as to see how you feel
Which
about
is
it.
Son of the Mask.
Nope. Not watching that one.
No, you don't want to?
Nope. I've gone this far without watching it, so
that's fair. I remember seeing the trailer for it a lot on late night television.
Yeah, there's lots of things I can think of that I'd rather do with my time than watch Son of the Mask.
Mask is one of the only movies Sybil had on DVD. And she was very excited about Son of the Mask. That's very depressing. Don't ever talk about that ever again. I will not blame your dad. Tommy is a good man. You have complete autonomy as a child. I don't believe you. Anyways,
sounds like an excuse to not pave your own path.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Be a follower.
Why blame other people for your decisions? That's what I'm asking.
Speaking of decisions, you made the decision that we should watch this and review it, and I thought it was a great idea.
I love this movie, and I'm gonna get most parts of the plot very wrong.
Didn't you say before we started recording that the Truman Show had the greatest impact on you and your personality and the things that you strive and achieve for in your life?
So something a lot of people don't know about me is that from a very young age, my parents pretended like we were on an island and I wasn't being recorded from every second of my life. And at the ripe age of 26, I learned that was a lie.
Yeah.
I'm 26, by the way.
Yeah.
Turn 27 next month.
It's crazy the parallels.
Yeah. And so if you want to watch all of my life from beginning to end, that was a crazy fade. We're getting fancy now. If you want to watch my life from beginning to now, all the way through, then I mean, just like DM my parents, I guess. Sure, you can do the crazy fade again.
Whoa. Yeah, this is a true life. This is your story, basically.
Okay, we're gonna do a fun thing just so I can teach Sybil how to do it. If you tap it and then tap it again in the middle of the transition, it'll stay in the middle of the transition. Yep, there we go. Now it's both of us.
Oh, dang!
It's
we're like a force ghost now.
We're like two force ghosts. Welcome to the Truman Show, everybody. Whoa. We should have done that for Halloween.
Yeah, we should have, but we didn't. Which makes us failures. But
it's okay.
But
I forgive us.
This movie, I mean, what do we do? In the beginning, we talk about...
It's our first impressions.
First impressions. What was your first impressions?
I watched Truman Show probably 5 years ago for the first time.
5 years
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah, okay, so I'll go on a small tangent if you want real quick about my life. If you guys want to know more about me. If you don't, just skip ahead like 3 minutes. We'll say 3 minutes. Okay, so my first impressions of this movie, watch in 3 minutes, I'm going to get back to something about my life, and those people are going to be very confused. That's the bit. I'm gaslighting the audience.
You said check back in 3 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just me talking about it.
You're going to go over your impressions right now instead of in 3 minutes, and then you're going to start talking
We gaslight the audience a little backwards. I would never do that to y'all. So... as a kid growing up, I used to like make little videos on my own as like a fun little hobby with a flip video camera, which I had out a week ago. But I never cared for movies, to be honest.
Wow.
I hadn't watched a lot of like the classics. Like I think I watched Titanic for the first time 5 years ago. Stuff like that, like obvious movies everybody should watch.
Yeah, like
I just never
Game
did.
Night. You literally just watched that this year.
Sure, like Game Night.
One of the classics.
Yeah. That Hero,
Exactly.
all Kung Fu Hustle, all of the greats.
Yeah.
So at some point, and the reason why is because I still kind of feel like this is I don't have as much appreciation for movies as I do the making of the movies.
Yeah.
And so until I get like my head wrapped around the idea of like, oh, I wonder how this was done, my brain like, or unless it's like a really, really good story. And so for a long time I went through like YouTube videos I thought were really cool and like expanding on ideas like that I thought were really cool. And short films I thought were really cool because you could like get through an entire story in like 7-8 minutes. And then eventually I went through the process of making my movie, and I thought it was a bit hypocritical that I was going to go through the process of making an entire movie without an appreciation for them. And so I sat down and I bought a ton of DVDs, and I put like 3 or 4 of them on every day while I was working on my movie. And I just got through a bunch of them like in a month. And so, are you good over there? So, all that to say, I missed out on a lot of really good movies, but I went in and watched a bunch of movies with a much better appreciation for them than I would have if I was a kid being told I gotta watch these movies, like with my family or whatever.
Yeah, but there's some movies that you have to watch as a kid to appreciate them.
That is true, and I did miss out on that a lot.
Yeah, there was some of those.
Like Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase, which I did watch as a kid and have a heavy appreciation for. But not Zombie Island.
Yeah.
She's going to throw stuff again. She's going to throw things at me. So my first impressions of this movie were like 5 years ago. Look, 3 minutes.
Hey.
This is great.
You didn't gaslight.
No, I didn't gaslight. I will later, though. You watch out for it. I'll do it. Very surprised. I mean, it was one of those, like, I knew everybody talked about, like, oh, if you love movies, you need to watch Truman Show. That's what everyone says. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, it comes up in, like, every conversation.
Yeah. It's hard to have a conversation without bringing up the Truman Show.
Right.
In my experience.
I agree. I totally agree. And so I watched it, and I was like, damn, this is phenomenal. For the 90s especially, this is fantastic.
What is that supposed to mean, bro?
As
someone who
the
grew
90s
up in
didn't
the 90s.
have the experience of social media letting people broadcast
You mean
themselves
they
24 hours a day,
It
7
wasn't
days a week.
tainted by the poison of social media?
Yeah, but it like understood the problem immediately,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. And at the same time,
We talked about that a little bit in that Satoshi Kon movie.
yeah,
Blue Lagoon. Or
emoji movie.
blue something.
Perfect. Blue.
Yeah.
So, and I also only knew Jim Carrey from like the Cartoon Network commercials for Son of the Mask, and so I was like, yeah, I'm sure this movie's like okay at best.
Sybil's favorite movie.
Sybil's favorite movie, Son of the Mask, and I watched it.
She was just saying before we were recording that when she was a little girl and watched that movie, it kind of really shaped her life and became a cornerstone of her personality and her goals.
Yeah.
And it really.
She was also talking to me about how she agrees that Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase is better than Zombie Island. She's throwing it at me. I'm being thrown at. She said she was fine being known as the Son of the Mask girl. So I watched the movie.
Yeah,
And
5 years ago.
Yeah, and it was while I was working on my movie. So the way I would do it is I would like put the movie on and like passively watch while I was working on stuff. This is one of those ones that I was like glued to the TV for most of it. So I was like, oh well, I have to know what's going on. I have to know what's happening next.
Yeah.
And absolutely mind-blowing movie. So much depth, so much like personality, so much connection to, because this is like as weird as it is, everybody knows a lot of the feeling that he's feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a broad range of feelings and emotions that's portrayed, but we all could see ourselves in his character.
Yeah.
There were some, to be honest with you, because it was the 90s, I was looking for people of color, and there were a few.
I think that's a very funny thing to talk about for the whole production, because it's probably very like intentional to still point out the weird illustration of what like the perfect life would look like.
Yeah.
And to give him like the perfect life with no
I think literally his
problems.
His neighbors across the street were black, and then there was like, I think I saw a few Asian people.
Mm-hmm.
So
very little representation, but enough for Truman to know that they exist.
Yep.
Which again is like a weird thing to think about. So yeah, this one and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If I'm ever in like the worst mood ever and need a little pick me up, those two movies do it immediately. Those are the two.
They do it for you.
Yeah. To be honest, as weird as it is, like those two movies on their own are probably my two top movies.
Really?
Because I can watch them whenever.
Of all time. Nice.
And I don't like sacrilegious, I'm sure, but very. Very good movies. Very
good. Everybody.
No, it's not Citizen Kane.
Everybody has their own.
I'll never live this down. I'll never live it down. No, Citizen Kane's not the best movie of all time. Game changer for sure, but not the best movie of all time. Don't make that face. I just can't wait to tell Michael Godfrey from We Don't Have an Ending. Yeah, that dude's a weirdo. We're gonna have
him on the podcast one day.
Eventually, Jesus.
Yeah.
How many episodes in are we? Are we almost to 100? I think that was the goal, right?
Well,
the goal is to get the goal to get to 100 episodes. The 100th episode was supposed to be my movie.
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it.
Sure.
That's gonna be a long episode.
Yeah. You know what?
It really will. I'm not lying. We'll get the band back together. I'll get the 3 cast members, and I don't know if Kendall will ever show up.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions, Jarvie?
You know what? I didn't have any.
Oh, okay. So here's the plot of the movie.
No. Actually, I watched this maybe 5 years ago as well. It was more recently than I cared to admit, because this is one of those movies that I think it was after I'd met my real friend Clint.
He exists.
He talked about it as one of his favorite movies.
Y'all saw
And I was
Conclave
just
together.
like, I don't know if I've ever seen this. And I just...
Did you also have the same, like, it's probably one of those campy 90 movies?
No, I don't know what I thought. I mean, I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I was like, just because it's one of those movies that, again, you just can't have a conversation with somebody without bringing it up. So I heard about it. I kind of knew a little bit about it, but watching it was a truly, I mean, it's one of those things where you're around something for so long. It's like maybe you have friends who have another friend that's on the periphery and everybody loves this person, and you're just kind of like, I don't know. That sounds doesn't sound like a real person. And then you meet them and they actually live up to the expectations. They're like, wow, this actually is a great human being. That's how I felt about this movie.
I have a really bad habit of doing that with any popular media. You know, I still haven't seen Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, you still haven't seen The Office or Parks and Rec or dude, Breaking Bad is actually one of the best TV shows.
I know, and people tell me that all the time. And guess what? I still haven't watched
Better Call Saul. The spinoff is actually really great too.
I've seen clips.
I just finished watching that
of Better Call Saul.
I finished that recently. But The Truman Show. I understood the hype.
Mad Men. Yeah, I haven't seen Mad Men either.
I haven't seen Mad Men either. Or Game of Thrones.
I see a lot of clips of Suits on TikTok.
I've seen Suits. Yep.
No. I, from what I see on TikTok, you're right. It is not one of the greatest of all time.
No.
What do you mean he didn't go to Harvard? He's just lying to everybody? That's crazy. You don't have a degree, but you passed the bar exam? Good enough for me.
That guy's super smart.
You should probably get a better suit.
I saw that one just the other day too.
Yeah.
We all saw it at the same time.
Yeah, right. They're just circulating around.
Yeah, the algorithm hit us all with the suits. With the hey man, I told you to get some new suits, and he's like, I did. Spent $500 on 5 suits, and he was like, no, go see my guy. We all saw it. Okay. But The Truman Show, it was one of those movies after I watched it, even though knowing a little bit about the plot, it still was like, wow, that was actually really, really good.
And what's crazy is that the ending is not hard to see from like a mile away. It's very obvious from the beginning that if this movie takes place in a place that this guy can't get out of, he's going to get out of it.
Is
right?
He though? Spoilers, guys. Spoilers ahead.
If you haven't watched Truman Show, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it.
Wow.
A fucking idiot.
Wow.
Go watch the movie.
You're not a full-time MFer.
Yeah. Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
You've seen Truman Show. You have to have. We talked about this. You love it. You watched it really young. So you saw it before either of us saw it.
Yeah.
This is crazy. If Randy has great movie taste, that's very surprising to me. Randy is her childhood friend that is a little chaotic and a homie, as we've learned even more recently. You've known. But it's hard to tell up front that Randy is a homie, but like when it comes down to it, Randy's a homie. So, and good movie taste apparently. So shout out Randy.
Yeah.
A homie with good movie taste.
So would you recommend it?
Is that where we're at?
Oh, I don't know. Do we do
is
that
what we do? I don't remember. Whose show is this? Yeah.
Oh, I thought the arbitrary
Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know my rating, skip ahead like a minute, okay? And then you'll see it later. So, anyways, do you really like it, right?
I do. I do really like it. I do really like it. I paid money to rewatch it.
This is my new bit. Did you watch it today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Great. So you can help me fill in the gaps because I did not get the time. I was on set yesterday.
Yeah. You're big hotshot star.
Not to brag. I was on set yesterday. And I will be on set next week, I think. Yeah, here. I've been talking about it the last couple of days. With Steven? Yeah. Probably next week, yeah. Maybe the week after. No, probably the week after. Next week is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We'll wait till the week after. This week is... No, next week's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay, full-time
Next
movie
week is
fans,
Thanksgiving.
you're watching this during Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
Which is actually, unironically, a great Thanksgiving week movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
I guess.
But I think both of my... Okay, so I get really bad seasonal depression.
No way.
And I get it in fall and spring.
Really?
Late fall, early winter, and spring.
I feel like
And so I usually end up watching both Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Truman Show.
Is it seasonal
around the
depression
time.
if you're never not depressed? Because I think that's what I have. What do you
It's
just
just
chronic?
depression. Yeah. You got the chronic.
the chronic version?
Hey, you.
How'd you like that episode? Did you like it?
You like movies? You like this one?
Do ya?
You should subscribe to this
Yeah,
channel right
like
now.
Also, as well.
Yeah. You got friends? Yeah, you do.
Do you? Hopefully.
Show it to them.
Prove
Show
it.
this to them.
Prove it. Prove it to us you got friends.
There's other videos to watch too. Why don't you watch those if you're so cool?
Yeah, prove you're not a bot. Leave a comment.
Nerd.